Join me today as we take a look at this Harley Quinn from Kaiyodo Revoltech, and this is an amazing Yamaguchi version. I'm starting to wonder now, have I done an amazing Yamaguchi Revoltech? These are very specific versions of Revoltech, so if you just see that name, Revoltech, how many times am I going to say that? It doesn't mean it's going to be this type. This is a person. This is an amazing person. What's that mean? Well, you get unique sculpts and articulation, usually the best articulation in the game, at least within the company. This Harley Quinn comes directly from WonderFest, which happened in Shanghai, and thanks to KOWKIS, I have it so that we can look at it together. Appreciate you guys sending this thing over. And we're gonna look at this thing and what made it exclusive to WonderFest. Well, it has a special thing in the box, which we will get to, and you have no way of knowing outside of just having been there to buy it, because there's nothing here that's telling me of the thing that's in there, because I'm looking at it and I know it's the secret thing. It's not really a secret if you buy it, you know. What I'm trying to say is, let's open the box and find out what's so special about this version of Harley Quinn. Nope. Now, Harley Quinn, if you don't know, is a DC figure, character, thing. That's all we need to know. This figure has come in a different option as well as far as the color paint things. The color of the paint. God bless. Let's just open this thing because apparently words are not working for me today. Hopefully, video does. Yay! 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 Such an idiot. Why do you watch me? The unique face sculpt with this thing is this one, the winking and the bubblegum. So we'll get into it. There's a lot of stuff here, so I'm very excited about it. I think that the articulation is going to be probably one of the best out there of any of most figures. I'm probably not of any figure. There's a lot of really good unofficial brands making stuff. Anyway, well, they're officially brands. Let's just zoom in and get into it. First things first, we have extra wrist pegs, which I can always appreciate because sometimes stuff just happens. Maybe it's 3 years from now, maybe it's today. We do get a base, which is cool to have because, you know, a lot of brands don't even include these things, and this makes a huge difference, especially for a character like Harley Quinn who's very animated, not only literally, but physically. So now you get this thing with the claw. I don't know, yeah, she does have a hole in her back, so you don't even need the claw, which is even better. So now there's no unsightly, you know, plastic. We also get this tool, which to me is like an eyeball moving tool, but I don't know what that is. So if that's what it is. So let's open the manual that came in the box. If we zoom in here, we can see that the tool is showing us, yes, you can move eyeballs, which I love to see. We got swappable face plates. We got swappable feet. The bats and things connect using a separation method, which I appreciate. And then you got an effect piece, which just snaps right into those weapons. Love it. Speaking of effect pieces that snap right into weapons, this is what you get, and I love stuff like this. I would love to have more brands creating just awesome add-ons like this. What are these called? What's it called when this is the thing? It's like Batman. This is really fun, especially for comic-based characters. You get this huge mallet, which I do love. I love the wood design separate from the metal handle. I mean, it really, like, you really feel like this is metal mounted to wood. It's very cartoony, which it should be. And then you got this effect piece, which you can just snap in. And what's fun about this is it's on a little ball joint, so you can find the best angle. So it's not just a one and done. You can really kind of do it from many different directions. Love to see that. And the same thing is happening here with the bat. And you can see the seam right here, which kind of works. I wish this was like white paint and sculpted as like a baseball bat wrap just to help separate the seam, but that seam is intended so you can slide the hands through without worrying about, you know, stretching out fingers and things. Also with the hole on the top, the bat is very plain. It's literally just brown, as you can see, but you know, for this character it definitely works. At the bottom you got swappable roller skates. Now, how on brand is that? Love to see it. They don't actually move, so you don't have to worry about her falling off of the shelf because of the wheels. The sculpt is good, nice paint work. Pretty straightforward for, you know, again, like a comic book style character. These are the boots that she has on by default, so when you swap those roller skates over, they're, I guess, roller skate boots, but the toe articulation is always good to see, so I think we're gonna have, like I said, a great range of articulation on this one. We have fists on by default, which is pretty standard for most characters, but especially anybody that is comic book, because you gotta punch your Batmans. The face that's on by default, pretty simple. I mean, the paint work is okay. It does kind of look like her right cheek sticks out a little bit more than her left. I don't know if that's just like a warped thing. The eyes are very basic. She's got a very dead look to her with this faceplate, but that kind of works, honestly, with Harley Quinn, because she's dead inside. Alternate faceplate number 1 is a smiling one. Now this is something, is that supposed to be all askew because she's crazy, or is that a mistake in the paint? I don't know. It kind of looks like a paint mistake. The highlight of this figure is not the head sculpt, I can tell you that much. Now we're talking. This is a faceplate that I would probably keep on by default just because it's so over the top, you know, very animated character. Again, the paint around the lips is a little wild. Her dead eyes are very dead. Duh. That's why they're dead eyes. I don't know. I'm a stupid man. And finally, the exclusive plate, which is probably what this whole thing is really all about. And the one that I would likely keep on her just because it is very much that character. It is unique on the shelf. There aren't many characters that have bubblegum blowing faces. Sometimes you get a Jubilee that does that. Then you have one figure from Metal Slug, and that's all I can think of. Wrist joints are just on it's a straight smooth thing. So these are actually really easy to take on and off. Nothing's like, you know, it doesn't have a ridge to lock in, which, you know, could be a good or bad thing. I don't know. Optional hand number 1 for the left side is a thumbs up, or obviously a thumbs down, or doing a, it's over for you, Batsy. It's not good. That is not good. And an optional right hand, which is either a pointing finger or a loser, because that's still cool to do, right? Then you get a pair of, I guess you could just say peace hands. I mean, they're a little relaxed, so they could definitely be used in other ways. Like if you put a gripping hand on one and then have the bat kind of in the other one, like that definitely works. So I think this has a multi-use thing thanks to the shape of the fingers. They're not like locked in to the hand. And finally, you get a couple of gripping hands, which also could double as trigger fingers if you can find a gun that can slide through that hand, because the thumb is attached to them. However, by default, these are intended for the bat and the mallet. The mallet, luckily, will just slide right in because it's just, you know, essentially it does taper off, so you can get like a nice good grip on it. The bat, again, you would just slide out that bottom piece and put it in. Easy to set up, works really well. The only concern, again, might be those wrist joints. If over time, maybe they slide it off a little easy, but as of right now, they got a good grip, so I'm happy to see that. Now, let's take one of these face plates and mess with those eyes, because we do have that tool to do so, and sometimes they're easy to do, and other times they're a real pain in the butt. So it does have 2 options. They showed this for that, and this end didn't do anything. I imagine you can literally use whichever side you want, but let's see what this one does. Yeah, it doesn't do anything. They're a little tight. It's kind of hard to get it off to the side there, but there we go. So if you need to have your character set up looking in a particular direction, the nice thing about these eyes, they're just round, so they don't have like a clear paint job that shows that this is the top or bottom. There's been figures in the past, because of the shape of the eyes or because they have like a highlight in them, that you have to kind of twist them around a little bit. This is a pretty straightforward one, but it's a little thing, literally, that can make a big difference in the way the character's set up. Plus, you can kind of hide that. Well, you can't. You can't really hide that. That's got to be a mistake. It's so weird looking. But it's also not off-brand for her to have a weird lipstick. If you would like to join the Discord that I have, then you can do that by signing up to be a member over on Ko-fi. Ko-fi is where I sell all of my print work, even action figures from my collection. And those memberships come in a variety of styles, so you can get discounts on all the stuff I offer, like those action figures and print work, or you can join Discord at just $2 a month. So use the Ko-fi link down in the description, and I'll see you over there. Let's look at the articulation. So we have these ponytails, pigtails, that have ball joints that can work in any direction you want, which is really cool for a character like this that comes with a flight stand, and you can have them, you know, way more of a dynamic pose, like they're, you know, slamming the hammer down or jumping through the air or whatever. Love to see that. A lot of range out of this. Now, thanks to the neck articulation through the head, we can look straight down, we can look straight up. That's insane. And then there's some really good range otherwise. That's like a whole ball joint for the neck. Shoulders go up pretty solid even with these pads, so you may want to twist them around, kind of get different angles, but these joints we've seen before with Revoltech. This is kind of their thing. They essentially just use a ball joint everywhere. Same thing here with the elbow, but it allows for some really good range. This is maybe not as much as I would love to see. With some of the elbow joints available today, you would almost expect more range out of this, but it's not bad. It's certainly not bad. We have a ball joint for the wrist. We do have upper body articulation, thanks to that all being hidden underneath the clothing. We have some really nice range with that. She can lean back incredibly well and crunch to perfection thanks to those two sections. Now, because they're on essentially like ball joints, we can also lean to the side really well, get those stretches in before we have to fight the bats. But this is definitely what you should expect out of Revoltech. Hip joints pop apart a little easy, so that's a little unfortunate, but I think the range is definitely there. And this hip section, look at that. There's a whole joint in there. Usually somebody would just take this and make it a swivel, but they have like a full ball joint in there. Look at that. Well, other than the hip popping apart, I'm loving the range that we're getting out of this thing. Much like the elbow, the knees are on just this kind of disc ball joint type thing. So you do get really good range here, which is nice to see. I mean, the fact that the legs can touch there is very rare, especially with a single joint like that. But you just have to kind of deal with this unsightly bulge from the back. It also twists there at the knee, which is nice. There's no twisting here through the boot section, but then you have a standard ball joint for the ankle, and then of course the toe articulation. So this is one of those that can get absolutely insane with articulation. I mean, look at this. How many figures can get into a tiny little ball like that? Not many. Well, I love to see this kind of range. This is awesome, and it doesn't even require swappable legs to do like a cool squatting action thing. What does that mean? I don't know. If we have like a gun or something that we can put in her hands, then she's going to be able to have like an actual pose for that. I'm an idiot. And it's time for a height comparison. First, we have Rogue from Marvel Legends, Luffy from SH Figuarts, Link from Figma, Skeleton from Mythic Legions, and the unofficial Chun-Li. As far as the details through the suit and stuff, I actually really like the difference of matte finish with the gloss. And this is something I'm enjoying way more in person than I did through online images. So I hope it comes across in video for you. And I had no idea, but this is a really cool feature. But check this out. The neck is like on an extended thing. So depending on the direction of the pose you're trying to get, you can really stretch it, literally. Well, there you have it, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you like this figure, links down in the description, of course. Head over to KOWKIS, purchase yours, and use the discount code to save 6%. Remember, this is a WonderFest exclusive. It may have been the same thing at San Diego Comic-Con, but again, these are convention exclusives, which means it's the only way to get these faceplates. If you enjoyed this and you want to see some more Batman stuff get reviewed, then be sure to click that link right there. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.